Stop transcribe. Hold on. Stop transcription. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned in the last class, that today we'll go into a new topic, which is agriculture allowance. Is it agriculture allowance or agricultural allowance? Agriculture allowance. Okay. All right. So this is another allowance, but this is given to a specific industry, which is the agricultural industry lah. Yeah. Thank you to the students, Siti Sarah, Alia Alisa, Nik Nurul Shafia, and Nur Anis, who has prepared this slide for the topic. I think that in the previous semesters, right? So thank you again. Hopefully this will benefit you, all right, as an investment to you, because many students will be referring to this slide. Yeah. Okay. So agricultural allowance. Similarly, right, is given to a person who incurs qualifying agriculture expenditure, right? So it's not simply normal capex. So we had done your plant and machinery, we had done industrial building, and now is the agriculture expenditure. All right, for the purpose of business, will be given agriculture allowance to set off against your adjusted income from that agriculture business, all right, so that you arrive to your statutory income. So the normal format is just like adjusted income minus your capital allowance. In this case, you can have capital allowance on your plant and machinery, right? So normally in a business, you also use your you definitely need your machine, all right. You may have your heavy machine, you may have your motor vehicle, for example, or the tractors. All that is still under plant and machinery. But at the same time, you may also have your agriculture allowance, which are the agriculture expenses. All right. From there, you might then you get your statutory income. In terms of the format, still the same. Your capital allowance, you still have your brought forward, all right? You have your current year, how much is available, how much you're going to utilize, and how much CA you carry forward. All right. Similarly, you also have another level. You have your agriculture allowance, right? Here also you have your brought forward, current year, available, utilize, and carry forward. So I hope that by now this thing is very clear to you. All right. We have done so many allowances now. Yeah, capital allowances, that third level dah. Okay. Right. On top of that, we also have your public ruling number 1 in 2016, which was issued on 20th of January 2016 to govern your agriculture allowance. Okay, you can refer to public ruling. There are a lot of examples in a public ruling, and it's clearer. All right, it gives you a very step by step lah. All right, so if you were outside later, right, when you're working, for especially if you're working in tax, all right, do not, all right, we don't refer to your textbook, all right, don't refer to your Chong Kwai Fat in your textbook, right? When you are in the practice, you refer to Income Tax Act, you refer to the public ruling, all right, especially the most recent public ruling. For any kind of, if you have any issues or whatever, you refer to public ruling and the Income Tax Act, right? Don't say that, oh, I refer to my textbook Chong Kwai Fat, you know, you don't say that, all right? Because Chong Kwai Fat is the simplified, I mean, from the act. So you must learn actually from the act and the public ruling. But the textbook helps you a lot actually. Even the slides is actually prepared from the textbook. Yeah, but then that's the most common feedback that we get lah. All right, a student should not refer to textbook only. All right, okay. All right, so what are these agriculture expenditure or the qualifying agriculture expenditure? Alright, I tak pernah lah pula pakai QAE ya. Alright, QBE, QPE and QAE tak pernah pula. Alright, it's okay. Alright, qualifying agriculture expenditure, para 7 of Schedule 3. Alright, what are those? Number 1 is that when you have any expenditure incurred for the purpose of clearing and preparation of land for the purpose of agriculture. Right? So if you are in the agriculture industry, definitely you need to incur cost to clear the land, all right, so that you then only you can plant a tree, for example. I do not know the term kan. Right, number 2 is that the planting but not replanting. So there are two things here. One is planting, the other one is replanting. So the one that is qualified is the planting. If you incur replanting, that is not qualifying. All right, for the purpose of agriculture allowance, only the planting. So what is replanting? We look into the definition later. All right, so the planting of crops on land cleared for planting, right? And C, expenditure incurred for the construction on a farm of a road or bridge. So it's very common that in a farm, you need to construct a road so that, all right, for your workers or even for you to transfer or to transport your products. So these, sometimes you have to incur that cost, all right, to build a road in the farm. Or you also need to construct a bridge. So that is also part of your capex, or in this case, qualifying agriculture expenditure. And finally, all right, construction on farm of a building either used in the business or living accommodation for employees. So either you build a building for your office, for example, administration, or you may have for living accommodation. You can also have expenses incurred for building of staff welfare, right? Maybe a canteen, or maybe normally in the farm. What do you see in the farm? All right, they normally have, for example, if you plant farm tu, maknanya kan sometimes you have temple, all right, or surau, or all these are staff welfare. So expenditure incurred for that purpose also is a qualifying expenditure. Okay, right. Next, it says that the cost of plant and machine used in the farm would be given normal capital allowance. As in other businesses, it would not be part of qualifying expenditure of your agriculture. So that's why you have different, one is the CA for your plant machinery, then you also have your agriculture allowance, or AA, all right? And the land cost, all right, is excluded from the meaning of qualifying agriculture expenditure. So for example, if any of these, all right, for example, the case of the clearing of land, or the case of construction of farm, or a building. So whenever you have the cost of land, it has to be excluded from the qualifying expenditure. All right. So coming back to the definition. All right. So what do you mean by agriculture? So we're talking about agriculture expenditure, agriculture allowance. All right. So agriculture refers to any form of cultivation of crops, animal farm, aquaculture, inland fishing, and any other agricultural or pastoral pursuit. All right, in para 7.2 of the Schedule 3, agriculture includes reforestation of timber. All right, reforestation adalah menghutankan hutan. All right, menghutankan kembali hutan. Okay, so reforestation of timber is also part of the agriculture definition lah, yeah. All right, so what is crops? Crops includes any form of vegetable produce. Okay, now we go into replanting. We say that planting is qualifying, replanting is non-qualifying. Why is it the difference is that because planting, you're going to claim agriculture allowance. It means that whatever expenditure incurred, you're going to claim that over several years. All right, replanting. A planting means that you're going to claim allowance, means that whatever you incur, you're going to claim that over several years period. But replanting, all right, replacement of the crop of any product in any area of land. By taking such action, it is calculated to produce on the same area a crop of the same product, and includes reforestation of timber. That's why reforestation fall under even though it's agriculture, but then is also called replanting, because kalau, right, so it means that replanting, it means that it's not a new crop. You already have, for example, you have rubber, rubber tree, right? And then you have that rubber tree initially, and then replanting of a new rubber tree on the same land. Understand? Right. So that replanting is not qualifying as a agriculture allowance. But the replanting, you'll see later that replanting is carried out by a person would be able to claim a revenue deduction in arriving to adjusted income. So what's the difference between claim as an agriculture allowance or claim as a revenue deduction? Allowance, it means that whatever expenditure here will be claimed against your adjusted income. But revenue deduction means that replanting expenditure claimed as a deduction. So it's allowable deduction. Expenditure to is a revenue expenditure deductible in arriving to your adjusted income. Can you see the difference? All right. So what are these replanting? It includes clearing costs, planting costs, or costs on improvement work relating to replanting. All right. Not only the cost of the crops too. All right. The cost incurred in replanting is all these are replanting expenditure. Right. It denotes the existing land must be currently planted and being now replaced with similar crop, right? Similar crop, but it says that what is, kalau you tanam vegetable, let's say lah, first round you tanam vegetable, what kind of vegetable? I don't know, cabbage? I don't know, all right, cabbage. And then habis cabbage, you replanting with another types of vegetable, right? So another type of vegetable, what do you say? Apa lagi? Sayur apa? Cepat. Spinach, right? Spinach. So bila you from your cabbage to spinach, is that a new plant or replanting? New plant, right? Because it's cabbage now. Okay, not really right, because both are vegetable, so they are still within the same replanting, right? So I think that is stated somewhere in the textbook. Ada tak? Okay, let's see in the textbook. Agriculture allowance. Okay, where a person carries out replanting, yeah. Replanting the same crop on the same area of land, he will be able to claim revenue. All right, the ambit of replanting denote the existing land. Okay, in the case of vegetables, the replacement of cucumber with tomato plants remains within the ambit of vegetable, therefore you claim as a revenue deduction. Is that clear? Yeah, but it's a different crops than different crops, right? So vegetable, whatever is within the category of vegetables, still replanting. Is it better for you to claim allowance or you want to claim that as a expenditure, revenue expenditure? Given a choice.
Revenue.
Revenue is always better, right? Because revenue you claim immediately. Whatever expenditure that you incurred for replanting, you claim everything in the same year. So it will reduce your adjusted income. All right. Assuming that because you claim that expenses give rise to adjusted loss, so loss you can use to set off against your other, your aggregate income. All right. And the loss can be carried forward to next year. But capital allowance, yes, you still can claim, but it takes time. Right. You incur maybe over 2 years or 3 years, then you have to claim that expenses, not immediately, right? Unless the capital allowance rate is 100%. But in the case of where it's less than 100%, then it takes you more than 1 year to claim for your expenditure. Yeah. So that is not that replanting is not good. Replanting is better, right? Because you can reduce your adjusted income. That will further reduce your tax liability. All right. All right. The other definition is what is farm. Farm is any land used for the purpose of agriculture. All right. So that is replanting. And then remember that we say that the agriculture allowance is only given for agriculture business. All right. So the business source here, in this case, you're talking about agriculture business, right? The common agriculture activities such as oil palm plantation. So you have a plantation, oil palm plantation. But this oil palm plantation may also involve the planting of oil palm and also the processing of the fresh fruit bunches into crude palm oil and palm kernel. Right, so these are the example in the textbook lah. So not only this business, all right, you have one is the planting, the other one is the processing. So how is this two different businesses or what? All right. It says that if this business, all right, is this activity, the planting of the oil palm and the processing of the fresh fruit branches, all right, is closely connected all right, being an integrated agriculture activity, it should be treated as one business source. Again, my question, which one is better, to have that activity as two business source, or you want it to be have one as a one business source?
One.
Why? Mm. Why? Why? Why not two? What is the implication here? Tak apalah, I jawab. Okay. All right. So when you have two businesses, all right, remember that whatever capital expenditure incurred for business one, so you can claim capital allowance for business one. Similarly, for capital expenditure incurred for business two, you can claim CA for business two. But CA for business one cannot, or CA from business cannot be transferred to each other. All right. It can only be utilized against your business one. So business one, you punya adjusted income minus CA for business one, then you have your SI. From here also you have your SI, you combine aggregate SI. Is that clear? All right. So any capital allowance that is not utilized, all right, you cannot set off. So you have to carry forward to next year. All right. But if you have income, you can utilize the allowance. But if you don't have any income, then it will carry forward and maybe not be fully utilized over the time. All right. But if you have one business, all right, whatever capex incurred will be set off against one income. So more likely that you are going to utilize all the allowances, and that will reduce your statutory income. So the main reason why you want to have two businesses is because of the utilization of your capital allowance. Okay? Make sense? Yeah. All right. Building used in agriculture business. So building used in agriculture business or directly serve as living accommodation for estate workers has to satisfy the zero value test. So what is this zero value test? All right. So here is the example here. Mana ni? Zero value test kat sini ya. Mana I punya? Tak ada ni. I tak boleh pakai apa nama dia? Tak apalah. Zero value test as a provided under para 7. So if the farm cease to be worked, is likely to be of little or no value to any person except in connection with the working of another farm. It means that if you have a building in the farm, right, if you are no longer using that farm, the building is useless. All right, it has zero value. So then only that building qualify as a building in your farm that you can claim agriculture allowance. Right? So it means that if no other use but for the farm, right, then it qualifies for expenditure incurred for the purpose of the building in the farm. All right, then you can claim allowance. For example, here we have example 29.1. Plantation workers are housed in a building constructed on a piece of land owned by Agro Enterprise in Mersing town, which is 40 kilometers away from the oil palm plantation. So this we have a one building in Mersing town, all right, Mersing town, okay, and 40 kilometers away from the oil palm plantation. Since the building is constructed in situation in Mersing town, it will be have considerable value when the plantation cease to be worked. So assuming that the plantation cease to be worked, all right, and then but the building in town is still valuable, isn't it? It still has a considerable value. So because it does not satisfy, so because now the plantation is no longer working, for example, so this, but the building still has value because it is in the town. Yeah, so it still have value means that it's not zero value lah. Yeah, so if it's not zero value, so it does not satisfy the zero value test. Agro enterprise is not eligible to claim agriculture allowance in respect of the building, as in the expenditure incurred on the construction of the building does not qualify the qualifying agriculture expenditure. So if you have considerable value, you fail your zero test, then the building you cannot claim capital allowance. It makes sense, yeah? Okay. And okay, what is a new planting? When a person had incurred qualifying agriculture expenditure on planting of new crops on virgin land or replace new crops on the old crops. Oh, salah. Replacing new crops on the old crops of different product purchasing land from previous owner by planting the same crops. So katalah you different owner, you still fall under new planting, yeah. So katalah you stay is an oil palm plantation, but now a different owner, but still plant a new oil palm. So still fall under new planting. He is said to be carrying out new planting. He will be granted agriculture allowance. And the rate of agriculture allowance is as follows. Nampak tak? Alright, so if I look into here, right, you see that the rate is not similar to what we already had before. Alright, so we have the 50%, 50%, 50%. We have 20% also. We also have 10%. So ada berapa kategori? Ada 5 category with 3 different rates. Right? So the first category is that clearing land and preparation of land for the purpose of agriculture. And in this means that it has been new planting, yeah, not replanting. Clearing of land and preparation of land for the purpose of agriculture. So it takes you 50%. So ada IAAA? No, there's no IAAA. Just agriculture allowance, 50%. So how many years do you take for you to claim everything? Well, it's a question. How many years? Kalau first year 50%, second year 50%, so no more in the third year. So it means that whatever expenditure incurred for agriculture purpose, it takes you 2 years to claim. Right, 50% in the first year, another 50% in the second year. Mana dia? Hilang. All right. The second expenditure is the planting but not replanting of crops on land cleared for planting. Right. So you gonna for the business you gonna clear the land first, and then only you plant the land, plant the seeds, whatever. All right. So that also expenditure incurred for the planting is 50% allowance. And then you also have the construction of the farm of roads and bridges is also 50%. So these 3 categories, 50%. All right, 1, 2, and 3. The next category, you have the 20% is the construction of a farm of a building for the welfare of person or as living accommodation for a person employed for the working of a farm. So here, if you have any expenditure incurred to construct a building, either bidding for staff welfare or for accommodation, then the rate is 20%. So it takes you 5 years to claim. And finally, got construction of any other building. All right, for example, smoke house, estate office. So what's the difference between 20% and 10%? 20% is the staff welfare and accommodation. 10% in other building. Right, other building, for example, your office, all right, estate office ke, or you have the smoke house ke, all right, or any a kind of storage, right? So all this is that 10%. Okay. Right, no initial allowance are available. Once agriculture allowance is claimed, the person is not entitled to other scheduled trade allowance in respect of the same expenditure. So for example, you have living accommodation, kan? So you living accommodation, you also fall under industrial building allowance. But of course, you cannot claim under industrial building because this one is not manufacturing. All right, this one is agriculture. So clearly, you cannot claim IBA dengan AA for the same building lah. Right? Or for example, if you have I don't know, other building, you can have a manufacturing building as well, right? For example, for you to process the oil palm, yeah, so you can have a manufacturing, a building there. So you have to decide, you want to claim that as an industrial building, or you want to claim that as agriculture allowance. Which one is better? To claim assuming that you have a manufacturing building, you want that to claim as industrial building, or you want to claim that under qualifying? You want to claim that under agriculture allowance? Hey, my students still there or not? Azim, Fahmi.
Yes, madam.
Nak claim apa? AA ke nak claim IBA?
IBA, I think,
Why?
because we can utilize it over the year.
You can utilize.
Kalau macam AA, only 1 or 2 year maximum lah, because the rate are bigger. But
In this case, the rate is either which one? You're looking at 10%. For example, you're looking at manufacturing building, kan? 10% under an agriculture allowance. Under IBA, what's the rate?
3%.
Annual allowance.
Initial 10%.
Okay, so which one you want to claim now?
AA.
Why?
Because kalau IBA, initial year will be bigger, but the following year will be like 3%, lagi lower rate. Like
How
kalau
long
AA,
to claim?
sekejap.
For industrial building, how long does it take for you?
3%.
Kalau 10 years, 3% baru 30%.
Yeah.
30 years, baru berapa? 90%. Plus 10% in the first year. Initial allowance. So about 30 years lah for you to claim. But kalau you claim that under agriculture allowance, you can claim that over how many years?
10 years.
10 years. Right? So which one better?
Agriculture.
Agriculture. Because for tax purpose, when it comes to expenditure, you want to claim as much as possible. So in this case, it's better because it's more, 10%, as compared to 3% annual allowance. And on top of that, you can also claim that as soon as possible. All right, because you only had take 10 years for you to claim, but kalau IBA, it takes you about 30 years to claim for the expenditure. So given an option, of course, you want to go for agriculture allowance. Even though the same building, you can also claim industrial building allowance. But you cannot claim both lah. It has to be either one. Yeah. So maybe you want to claim agriculture allowance, because it gives you a higher rate, which is 10% as compared to 3%, and it takes you shorter period for you to claim for your expenditure. Is that clear? Right. Okay, claim of agriculture allowance, it says that no agriculture allowance shall be made to a person for a YA in relation to an asset and a business of his if, alright, so dia kata you tak boleh claim, you cannot claim agriculture allowance when you have this item. Number one is that where the asset is transferred or transmitted in the basis period for that year, if it was not in use for the purpose of the business within 1 month before the transfer or transmission took place. So what it means is that, all right, under normal circumstances, when you transfer your asset, all right, in the year of disposal, can you claim your allowance? Yes or no? In the year of disposal, can you claim your allowance? Right? Normally, most of the time, you cannot claim in the year of disposal. So similarly here, it says that you cannot claim your AA in the year of disposal, tapi dia ada additional if it was not in use for the purpose of the business within 1 month before the transfer or transmission took place. It means that if you use the asset, all right, before the transfer take place, all right, within 1 month, right, within 1 month, you still use the asset before the transfer, then you can still claim your allowances. Means that even though in the year of disposal, you can still claim provided that you still use the asset within 1 month before the transfer. In any other case, if at the end of the basis period, you are not the owner of the asset or it was not used for the purpose of the business. So it means that, of course, in the year of disposal, you cannot claim, right? But if you use the asset within 1 month before the transfer, then you can still claim allowance on the asset. Okay, how are you going to do that? In order to claim the allowance, the person must be the owner at the end of the basis period, and then the qualifying agriculture expenditure is in use at the end of the basis period. In the year disposal, the qualifying agriculture expenditure was in use within 1 month before the transfer, then the claim is up to the date of transfer of sale allocated on a time basis. Right? So it means that if you're still using the asset within 1 month, you can still claim allowance, all right, but up to the date of disposal. So it means that you're going to allocate, or you're going to apportion the allowances based on the time basis. So it means that you have to look at the date of disposal, kira how many days in that year over 365. So that is the allowance that I'm available. All right, the transferee or the acquirer would claim the remaining part irrespective of his basis period of purchase or a basis period or purchase consideration. It means that whatever you paid is irrelevant because you're going as a transferee or the acquirer, you are going to claim whatever claimed by the disposal. So similar to what we had in the previous class masa kita buat control sales kan. So you're as a transferee or as an acquirer, you will continue to claim the allowances based on what is claimed by the disposal. Right, whatever you paid for the plant, for example, for the land, for example, all these things is irrelevant. No agriculture allowance would be given during the year of disposal if the QE were not in use for purpose of business within 1 month before the transfer. So how are you going to do that? When you have a disposal of asset, transferer, or the disposal where the asset is used within 1 month, then you have to apportion. So assuming like you dispose on 1st of March, right? 1st of March is the date of disposal. So it means that you can claim 31 days plus 28 days in February. Right, 21 plus 28 over 365 times by the agriculture allowance for the year lah. So whatever amount of allowance available, then you have to times a portion accordingly. And the balance, all right, the number of days of the will be transferred to the transferee. So transferee can claim the balance lah. Right? So the price paid for the agriculture expenditure is ignored, and then you can only claim the remaining agriculture allowance due to the transferor where the asset is a farm used by recipient for the purpose of business. So it means that you can only claim allowance as a transferor or the acquirer. You can only claim your agriculture allowance if you still use the farm, all right, for agriculture purpose. Right, so if you don't use the farm for agriculture purpose, then you cannot claim lah, definitely. Yeah, a building used by recipient for business purpose and is adjacent to or closely in the vicinity of the farm or other farm of his forming part of that business. So in this case, the building that we mentioned earlier is not zero value lah, because even though you because the farm or is still is still working lah. Yeah, so the building still being considered to be part of the plantation. Yeah, so a transferee can still claim allowance on the building based on the balance. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the example in your textbook. What is the time now? 10:34. Rasa macam lama dah cakap. Okay. Claim of capital allowance and the example here. Alright. Tumbuh cepat Sdn Bhd, a rubber plantation company in Pahang incurred the following capital expenditure for the year ended 31st August 2021. Is your textbook similar to mine, 2021? I hope so, right?
No.
Yours is 2022, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, it's okay, it's okay. Sama je, it's just different year, okay? Alright, so take note lah, never mind. So if here is 2022, I nak tukar, I just refer to my textbook. Okay. Land clearing is 100,000, seedling and fertilizing 240, construction of labor quarters and office building 80 and 60, total capex incurred for the year is 480. Right, so from here, all right, looking at this, you have to decide, okay, what is the rate? Okay, of course, this one is rubber plantation, is a agriculture, is business. All right, so you can claim your agriculture allowance. But what's the rate for land clearing? What's the rate? 50%. Seedling and fertilizing is 50%. Labor quarters, what's the rate for labor quarters? Labor quarters is 20%. Right, and the last one is office building is 10%. So the rate is either 50, 20 or 10. So anything to do with agriculture is 50%. Right, living accommodation staff welfare is 20%, and other building is 10%. right? So you should be able to, right, be familiar with that, yeah? Okay, so how are you going to compute? All right, similarly, I always want you to do that in your, okay, so it means that if your QE is 340, 50%, your AA is 170. QE is 80. So in this case, they combine both. 100 and 240 because this one land clearing and seedling and fertilizing. You can combine or you can have it separately. It's okay. All right. Either you have 100, which is 50%, 240, another 50%. Or in this case, they combine. I will put it separately. All right. If I get it wrong, at least I get wrong only one of that. All right. Okay. Labor quarters 20%. So the rate is 16. Office building 10%. The rate is 6. Okay. What if you dispose? All right. Disposal. Let's look at the example here. Using the same example, tumbuh cepat. You sold the entire asset to Asia Pacific Rubber Plantation or APRP on 1st March 2021. Careful because yours is 2022, I believe. Yeah, the year end is 31st of December. So if you transfer on 1st March, right, tumbuh cepat acquired benda ni bila? Incurred on, ini dah 31st August. Oh, ini tumbuh cepat. Alright, the other party year end is, this one is the disposal. Itulah I nak. Kat mana I punya boleh dapat I punya, I cannot have a highlighter, is it? It's not there. Tu kenapa pula tu? Why is it like that? What did I do? Why there's a blue color there? It's okay. Okay, tak apa. Coming back, tumbuh cepat, acquired bila? Acquired all these things in 31st August 2021. And then they dispose on 31st March 2022, isn't it? Sold on 1st March 2021. Incurred bila? Using 29.2, tumbuh cepat, sold its entire asset on 1st March 2021. Macam mana tu? What is in your textbook? Sebab kat atas ni dia acquired on financial year end 31st March. So for 2022. Okay, boleh. Okay, betul. Okay, so if you were to draw the line, alright, can you please draw the line for tumbuh cepat? So for, ni tak boleh ni, 1st March 2021 ni tak boleh. Betul tak? 1st March 2021 is YA 2021. Sebab August, 31st August. Dr. Fatimah, how ah?
Because here, we want to ensure that the company use at least 1 month before the disposal. So dia punya financial year end tu not really important lah ya kan kawan? Dr. Khadijah.
Yelah sebab year end tumbuh cepat is 31st August.
31st August. So
for
now,
2021, YA 2021, YA 2021 is 31st August 2021. So you see that
yes.
up to 28 February 2021, tumbuh cepat kan? So they can claim agriculture allowance for YA 2021 if it's 20. So this one salah. This one should be 1st March 2022, isn't it?
Yes, madam. In textbook it's 2022.
Ni 2022.
Maybe because their version is 2022.
Okay.
Yours version is 2021.
Tapi the first YA that you claim is YA 2020? The textbook. First YA untuk tumbuh cepat.
2022.
Okay, hold on. let's do this. Where's my Excel?
Dr. Reja, maybe because we apportion based on when we use the asset.
Ni 20, is this the one?
This is the one that I made.
Siapa yang buat ni?
Ni je.
Very good, Doktor. Okay, 29, 22.2. Okay, turbo cepat senayan berhad. Alright, let's see that. Wait, ni 2020. Okay, give me in the textbook. Okay, textbook. Which YA? Edition berapa? 2022 edition, is it? Class?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So turbo cepat year end is 31st August. Right? So 31st August for YA 2021. You open your buku YA 2022 lah ya? 2020. Okay, give me the facts. Give me some of the facts. Insert, incurred, come on, Y. Capex, incurred. Okay. Disposal bila disposal?
First March.
31st March.
First
March.
First.
1st March. 1st March 2020.
Two.
Okay. So 1st March 2022. So for this company, dia akan claim in YA 2020 disposal. YA 2021. So 31st August 2021. Am I right? So that is YA 2021. Dia akan claim in
Dr. Khadijah, I think this one should be 2022.
which one?
Because in 2022 edition, the financial year end is 31st August 2022. So this one should be YA 2022. Am I correct?
Itulah saya tengah fikir ni, dia punya year end dia 31st August. Disposal 1st March. So disposal 1st March. So that's why in 29.2, when is the year end? What is the first year that you claim? 2021 or 2022? Mana dia Sekejap. Okay. Dia memang, I think memang this memang error, typo error dalam example. Hold on, let's see. 29.2 dia kata 31st August kan. Okay, here your question bila? 31st August 2022, isn't it? And then compute AA for 2022, is it? Okay.
Yes, madam.
Let's say means that for YA 2022, here is 31st August 2022 lah. Alright, right. Alright, 2022, here is also 2022, then you dispose 2023. So disposal would take place on 1st March 2023 kan? Mana boleh dispose 2022? Okay, boleh.
Okay, boleh.
Boleh. Alright. So for YA 2022, the rate is 50%, but for YA, okay, itulah nak tahu tu. 31st March 2020, you cannot claim 25,000. Am I right? Cannot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because this one you apportion.
2022. That's why I kata ini mesti disposal 2023.
Tak. No, Dr. Khadijah.
Buat 2022 juga?
Yes, 2022 because as far as I'm concerned, for agriculture allowance, you can claim. You can claim if you use that within 1 month before disposal. So in this case, dia still can claim for 2022, but you must apportion.
Yes.
So that's why dalam calculation here, 100,000 multiply 50%, you multiply 6 over 12 ni, kena check balik lah. I need to read the content.
Okay, hold on. I think that this one kita move. Sekejap Command X. Try. Command V kat sini. So patutnya ada 25%, 25,000 kan? But for 2022, tumbuh cepat, you can only claim only for up to 31st, 28 February lah. Betul tak? February. Sebab you dispose on 1st March 2022. Am I right or not?
Yes. So that's why the calculation is 100,000 multiply 50%
Ya,
multiply 6/12.
Ya, betul.
Because from August till February is 6 months.
Ya. So you buat sini je. Campur this one, darabkan dengan how many days? 31 plus 28 over 365. 4041. Is that right or wrong? Right or wrong? What is in the textbook? Can someone screenshot to me your 2022 punya sekejap? Masuk dalam WhatsApp. Anyone? Ada tak? Ish, lambatnya. Okay. Okay, this 29.2, please screenshot 29 point as well. 29.3. Ada benda tu lah pula. Okay, give me a second. Now it's 10:49. While I'm doing this, you can have your mind working as well, yeah. Insert just out. Okay. You can still see my Excel. Alright, tumbuh cepat 31st August 2022, so claim CA. So the first question 29.2. Mana 29.2? Tak ada 29. Okay, soalan nombor 1, 20. Okay, let's see. Let's do this for 29.2 first. Alright, 29.2 atau 29.3 terus. Dr. Fatimah, 29.2 dulu, okay? 29.2. So let's assume that example 29.2. So assuming that the company is not disposing the asset, so this would be the agriculture allowance for control X, control V, right? Command X, command V. Am I right? So this would, right? Are you still here? Dah ingat I cakap sorang-sorang je. Okay, 28 February 2022, for example, 29.2, this would be your allowance, right? But then, example 29.3, using example 29.2, so ni betul tak? Mana allowance dia? 117, 16 and 6. Apa benda ni? Kenapa tak sama? Oh, dia pecah. Okey. 50-60. Kenapa tak jadi sama ni? Oh, I see. Sekejap nak buat benda ni. Oh, apa nak buat ni? Ni dah soalan nombor 29.3, is it? Hold on. Ish. Sekejap. Hening sekejap. Insert. So, kita nak buat yang biasa dulu. Command C. Command V. 29.2 dulu ya. Without the okay. Campur je dulu. Plus. Okay, this one is to show your 29.2. This would be how your computation would be. Insert. Okay, 29.2. Under normal circumstances, when your year end is 31st of August, for YA 28, for YA 2022, your year end is not, year end is 31st of August. Betul tak ni, Dr. Fatimah?
Betul. Dr. Khadijah, maybe you can delete the last column tu. Because that one is agriculture charge yang tadi.
Yang mana? Last column?
Oh, ya, kat mana tukar? Okay, Dr. Khadijah ada tukar tu. Okay.
Now it's agriculture allowance. So for YA 2022, assuming that you still have the asset, you're going to claim that for YA 2022. So if you were to do that again for YA Command C, you'll continue to claim 2024. So just want to show you the computation would be, you no longer have anything here because 50%, but you can still have this, right? Because this one it will take a longer period for you to claim. So you can still have 2024 onwards lah for the labor quarters and office building because that is 20% and 10% rate. Am I right? Okay, so this is the normal for the land clearing seedlings. So you only claim in the 2022 and 2023, 50% each. Okay, following? All right. Now we go to example 29.3, right? So example 29.3, where you have disposal on 1st of March 2020. Kat mana dia tadi? Okay. Disposal is 1st of March 2022, right? 1st of March 2022. So here disposal on 1st March 2022 for 2028. Not. So you can claim from, for 2022, you cannot claim everything. Alright, you can only claim 6 months. Kenapa 6/12?
Because disposed on 1st March, financial year end, 31st August.
Yeah, September. So you start from September, October, November, December, January, February. Alright, but normally Dr. Fatimah, kita akan buat based on number of days.
Okay.
Right? Based on number of days rather than based on the months. But in this case, it's nicely lah because it's 1st of March. But if you were to compute, it's normally the law says that it's the based on number of days. So if number of days, how many days until 28th of February? Anyone? Would be September kan? Anyone? How many days from September, 1st September to 28th of February? September 30, 30, 31, 30, 31, 31, 28. How many days? Ui. Mana ni? Tak dapat lagi. How many days? From September. September 30, August 31 plus 30 plus 31 plus 31 plus 28. 181?
Yes.
Yes.
Sen lambat sangat dapat dia ni. Okay, 24,795 for 2022. And the other assets is also based on that. Alright. Do I get the same answer? Sama tak? But for 2023 tak ada dana dapat. You cannot claim anymore for 2023 kan? But this guy, the other company, dia akan claim the balance lah. Which is the balance? What is the balance? I would take the balance. I akan ambil pada sini minus sini. So the balance is 25,205. This one is for YA 2022. So YA 2022 dia year end is 31st of March 2022. Even though you acquired for on 1st of March, right? But the allowance available to Asia Pacific Rubber for year end YA 2022, because year end is 31st March, all right, will be the balance of the allowance of 2022 for this company, isn't it? So tengok jawapan dia macam mana. Okay, dia pakai 85, 8 and 3. Mana pula datang 85 ni? Oh, kat sini dia pakai 6 months Oh, padahal Dr. Fatimah pakai 6 months. Tapi sebab the law kata based on number of days. That's why I buat number of days juga. The remaining balance. Right, remaining balance. Even though you only have 1 month, alright, you only acquired that for 1 month, but you have the balance for YA20, balance of YA22 of the disposal. So when come to YA 2023, command C, right, buat ni lah. Command C, command V, right. Coming to YA 2023 for Asia Pacific, what would be the allowance available? For land clearing, it will be 0 because the asset, bukan, salah. How much? Am I right or wrong? Dr. Fatimah? Class? Will you agree with the answer? Kenapa tak sama dengan jawapan kat bawah ni? Sebab dekat sini, yang ini jadi apa? Total, my total is 84,301. The answer in the textbook is 85,000 that you claim by. Alright, see, 85,000 tumbuh cepat claim 85,000. Why 85? Because dia pakai 6/12. Kan? In my case, I pakai number of days. So I get a bit different lah. So I suggest because the law says is over number of days, a portion based on number of days, time based. So I would use the time lah, right? So but the working is still the same, but it's just that the number would be different lah, a bit, yeah. And then other than that, I think it's the same. 85, 8 and 3. 8 pun tak sama kan, nampak lain straight sebab number of days. But for 2023, alright, you are Asia Pacific Rubber, because now can still claim 50,000 because the asset has not been fully claimed. Alright, the first year baru habis claim, alright, 50,000. So you have another 50,000 in YA 2023, and then 120, another 50%. But the labor quarters, you are the another 2024, you can still claim lah. So if you have YA 2020, YA 2024, right? I don't have any more here, all right, but I can still have my 16,000 and 6,000. Yeah, common C, common V, but YA 2024. Let's see. Here YA 2024, here is also YA 2024. Is this correct? Clear? Okay, kita panggil nama. Siapa nak kita panggil nama? Kita panggil Amir Mustaqim. Ni, ada ke tak ada ni? Amir Mustaqim? Tak ada? Okay, tak apalah. You tengok benda ni, I think that it should be like this. Betul tak, Dr. Fatimah?
Madam.
Yes.
Correct kan? Alright, okay. So that is on the example on 29.2 and 29.3. So let's look into the textbook again. Disposal. Okay, when it comes to the disposal, all right. So now that was the claim. But when we have another disposal where we call it as an agriculture charge. So agriculture charge is akin to balancing charge. So what is a balancing charge? It's a you add on to your adjusted income, right? Whenever you have balancing charge, you add to your adjusted income. But for agriculture allowance, kita panggil agriculture charge. So what is agriculture charge here? In this case, it refers to, but it's not because of your disposal, alright? Your disposal value is more than your residual expenditure. But here, agriculture charge refers to withdrawal of agriculture allowance previously given. So it's similar to apa kita panggil clawback. Ingat clawback, wherever disposal within 2 years, okay, kita akan clawback. But for agriculture allowance, kita akan clawback when disposal is within 5 years. Nampak? 5 years. So if disposal took place after the permanent cessation of farm business, the disposal shall be deemed to have made in the year of the cessation. But if the disposal is within 5 years, effective from 1st January 2014, disposal of qualifying agricultural expenditure within 5 years from incurred, all agriculture allowance previous claim is withdrawn as agriculture charge. So similar to the computation of your withdrawal. So whatever you claim every year to, everything will be considered as a balancing charge in the year of disposal. All right. Understand? So whatever expenditure, whatever allowance that you claim will be treated as an agriculture charge in the year of disposal. However, all right, for this agriculture allowance or this topic, there is an election to spread back. So the election for spread back is allowable, but it has to be in writing to DG within 3 months, all right, or longer period allowed by DG of the YA following YA or disposal to spread back the agriculture charge to the past YA. So what do you mean by you want to spread back? Means that if you have this agriculture charge, for example, disposal is YA 2020, right? Example ni lah, right? So under normal circumstances, all right, if the disposal in this case is within 5 years, all right, is within 5 years. So look at the insert. Okay, whatever you have is this. In this case, total allowance claim is 95,211. So under normal circumstances, this is disposal within 1 year. So initially you tak claim lah, unless you claim in YA 2021. Tak adalah, in this case we start claim in YA 2022. Alright, for tumbuh cepat. Alright. So by right, this 95,211 is the total allowance claim. So this total allowance claim will be treated as a balancing charge or agricultural charge in the year of YA 2022. Right? But tak juga, sebab YA 2020 because you dispose, this example tak logik juga lah. Alright, you incur and then you dispose immediately kan. So katalah in the first year you claim and then second year you dispose. So whatever claim in year 1, year 2 will be treated as a balancing charge lah. or if not year 2, everything is a balancing charge, right? What we say by spread back is that whatever allowance that you claim, right, is the balancing charge you can spread back against the year that you claim. So katalah in YH, assuming lah for example if for example kita buat macam ni lah, Asia Pacific dia incurred benda ni, alright, Asia Pacific you claim your expenses, your allowance macam ni, and then you dispose in YA 2025. YA 2025 is the year of disposal. So let's do this for disposal, right? This is the year of disposal. Macam mana nak tambah sikit ni, bagi jauh sikit, insert. Ni tak nak lagi ke? Okay, so assuming that this is the example, controllable, alright. So year of disposal, so whatever that you have claimed, because this one is YA 22, 23, 24, 25. So it's within 5 years. So what happens is that in the year of disposal, whatever that you claim here, alright, this is your agriculture charge. Agriculture charge, right? So this is your agriculture charge. So you're going to treat that as your charge in YA 2025. But when I say that you can actually spread back, all right, whatever you have, whatever incurred here, you claim that as a charge in the year that you incurred, right? For example, from 310 ni, you boleh claim, for example, kat sini, command X, command X. Okay, so total allowance claim kat sini, dia kat sini berapa? So for 2022 total claim is 96,789. 2023 is 192,000 and 22,000 in that year. So what you do is that rather than you claim everything in YA 2025, all right, you are going to claim these 96789 as agriculture charge in YA 2022. 192 because remember that you akan buat revision to your taxcom. Alright, YA 2022, initially you have claimed 96789 in YA 2022. When you submit your tax return, you have claimed 96789 as your agriculture charge, agriculture allowance. In 2023, you claim 192,000 for the respective asset, alright, for YA 2023. Similarly for YA 20. When it comes to YA 2025, you dispose. Bila you dispose, you kena balancing charge. Why? Because you kena agriculture charge because disposal within 5 years. So what you do is that the option of spread back, rather than everything 310 ni, you buat adjusted income plus agriculture charge in YA 2025. What you do is that you're going to trade, you write to, that's why they kata, you write to, mana? You have to must be in writing to DG within 3 months or longer period as allowed of the YA following YA or disposal. So it means that you tak buat dalam YA 2025 ni, in YA 2026 you akan minta pada RB in the year of disposal kan, after of the following YA or the disposal to spread back. Now only you write to RB, I nak spread back I punya agriculture charge, means that I will charge my agriculture charge in the respective years of assessment. So I akan kira balik lah. Alright, taxcom YA 2022, I dah tolak 96,789, so akan buat dia jadi macam ni. Command X, command V. Right, kat sini I dah tolak kan, tolak sum of, in that year I dah tolak this amount 96,789. Tapi means that bila I spread back, I akan campur balik 96,789. Similarly lah to this year juga. So apa beza dia? Totality mesti sama. Tapi it depends on the income, adjusted income of that respective years. Sometimes you can play around with that. That will give you a lower. Maybe 2022 income is smaller, alright. So then you have adjusted income, alright, agriculture charge. So dia akan make a difference to SI. So that's why, alright, whether you want to spread back or not, it depends. That's on the company. You nak charge everything in 2025 or you nak spread back. Kalau 2025, definitely your statutory income will be very high in 2025 because you have the agriculture charge of 310, right? So depending on how much you adjust income. Katalah you ada loss, alright, so means that you only pay tax on your agriculture charge lah and that time. But if you have, then you do a simulation whether if you spread back, would that reduce your total tax liability for YA 22, 23, 24 and 25. So that's why dia punya tu given as an option untuk you claim nak spread back or not. So before you nak write to the DG nak spread back, then you buatlah dulu simulation whether is it beneficial for you to spread back, because for you to adjust or to revise your tax com is not you have to pay also lah to the tax agent to do that, yeah, but the option is there for you to spread back. Understand? Right. In your textbook, I think that they give you an example of the spread back. Right. These are the example where we have 29.5. Carry on business of coconut plant, and then you have cost of land. This one is non-qualifying. Clearing of land, construction of road, planting of coconut, construction of labor quarters 20%, construction of store is 10%. Right, on 24th of September 2019, the company received a grant of 70,000. So you know that the grant, as mentioned in the slide, that grant, kat mana slide tadi? Tak ingat dah slide. Where is the slide? Kat sini. Alright, so it's normal for agriculture business dia terima subsidi, grant, right? So all this is no longer taxable lah. Before this, it was taxable. Bodoh kan government. Dia bagi grant, lepas tu dia nak pula charge tax on the grant given to the farmers. Right, so sebaiklah ada orang pandai cakap, okay, this one is not right. So that's why dia ada kata now whatever given as a need, no longer taxable lah on the farmers. Right. So clearing of land, construction of road, all these things, and then you have 70,000 is no longer taxable lah. Right. So they give you this working, all right. What they do is that, all right, these are the allowance claim, right? Dia akan buat 2017 like this. I want you to do your YA horizontally, and then all the expenses vertically, all right? Transpose this computation so that you can see from year to year punya computation. All right, so what they do is that they dispose in the, okay, this one is disposal. Tropical Paradise, apa cerita dia sebenarnya? Tropical Paradise, business, and then year end 31st December. So 2017, YA 2017, 2018, and then dia receive grant, and then 30th June 2021 sold to Syarikat Haji Bakhil, right, for 500,000. So disposal in YA 2021. So you see 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, disposal nampak tak? Dia dah apportion. Again, dia apportion based on month. Because dia fikir, alright, based on month, 6 months only for YA 2021. So the disposal. But because the disposal, right, dia still kira lagi. And then, but then dia akan buat barisan cat. Ini, this is an example of spread back. Nampak kat sini ni, minus 80,000 ni. Alright, dia spread back. So all these allowances and then dia spread back. So dia ada way round lah, sebab this one dia buat positif. Alright, allowance. Patutnya allowance is the negative lah. But kita nak tunjukkan ini kita ada 80,000 agriculture allowance, but then agriculture charge is minus balik 80,000. So you tarik balik lah, you claw back whatever allowance given to you in the previous year. Right? Right, the taxpayer can elect to have the agriculture charge assessed over the years for which the allowance were made rather than only for the year of disposal. In the event of a sale, the agriculture allowance is time apportioned. Okay, all right. So you try to do this first, all right? But again, I want you to do that YA 2017. The year is on the horizontal and the expenditure is the vertical, right? Try to do that. So that covers your agriculture allowance for the day, right? The next topic is forest allowance, very short one, all right, very short one. So I think that you can read on your own, yeah, the forest allowance. I think it's the same chapter, right? So it's very simple one, right? Nothing much, no example of this computation, yeah. And then you also have your tutorial on agriculture allowance, all right? And I want you to do this tutorial, agriculture allowance. The first one is very easy to compute the agriculture allowance for 2020. And then 2020, question number 2, you have this expenditure, and then you construct building, I think. Compute agriculture allowance, and then compute agriculture charge for 2022, if any, if you dispose for 180,000, and state with reason whether there would be an agri charge if did not dispose the mill until the year 2026. Right? And then you have the question number 3. So 3 questions only for your tutorial. Right? Okay, so we have covered your agriculture allowance. Forest allowance, I delegate to you to read on your own. So next class, we'll discuss the answers for your plant machinery, industrial building, and agriculture charge, agriculture allowance. All right, the 3 topics. Make sure that you do all the tutorial questions. Not many, three questions, 3 or 4 questions only for each topic. So make sure you do this so that you understand better when we discuss in class on Wednesday, inshallah. Is that clear? Right?
Clear, madam.
Okay, so I think that's all for today. Thank you for attention. Please review, please do the tutorial. All right, I'll see you again inshallah on Monday face to face. Oh, sorry, Monday pula. I'll see you on Wednesday face to face in class. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.